Hi, welcome in. Day 34, Nahum. The main action, God. The stage of history is large. Larger-than-life figures appear on this stage from time to time, swaggering about, brandishing weapons and money, terrorizing and bullying. These figures are not as they suppose themselves to be, at the center of the stage, not in fact anywhere near the center. But they make a lot of noise and are able to call attention to themselves. They often manage to get a significant number of people watching and even admiring them. Big nations, huge armies, important people. At any given moment, a few superpower nations and their rulers dominate the daily news. Every century, a few of these names are left carved on its park benches, marking rather futile and in retrospect, pitiable attempts at immortality. The danger is that the noise of these pretenders to power will distract us from what is going on quietly at the center of the stage in the person and action of God. God's characteristic way of working is in quietness and through prayer. I speak, says poet George Meredith, of the unremarked forces concealed in quiet people and plants. If we are conditioned to respond to noise and sighs, we will miss God's word and action. However, God is serious business. He won't be trifled with. He avenges his foes. He stands up against his enemies, fierce and raging. But God doesn't lose his temper. He's powerful, but it's a patient power. Still, no one gets by with anything. Sooner or later, everyone pays. Nahum 1, verses 2 to 3. From time to time, God assigns someone to pay attention to one or another of these persons or nations or movements, just long enough to get the rest of us to quit paying so much attention to them and get back to the main action, God. Nahum drew that assignment in the 7th century BC. Assyria had the whole world terrorized. At the time that Nahum delivered his prophecy, Assyria and its capital, Nineveh, appeared invincible. A world free of Assyrian domination was unimaginable. Nahum's task was to make it imaginable, to free God's people from Assyrian paralysis, free them to believe in and pray to a sovereign God. Nahum's preaching, his spirit-born metaphors, his God-shaped syntax, knocked Assyria off her high horse and cleared the field of Nineveh distraction so that Israel could see that despite her world reputation, Assyria didn't amount to much. Israel could now attend to what was really going on, Nahum proclaimed. God's orders on Nineveh. You're at the end of the line. It's all over with Nineveh. I'm gutting your temple. Your gods and goddesses go in trash. I'm digging your grave. It's an unmarked grave. You're nothing. No, you're less than nothing. Assyria, I'm your enemy, says God of the angel armies. I'll torch your chariots. They'll go up in smoke. Lion country will be strewn with carcasses. The war business is over. You're out of work. You'll have no more wars to report, no more victories to announce. You're out of war work forever. Nahum 1:14, 2:13. Because Nahum has a single message, doomed to Nineveh, Assyria, it is easy to misunderstand the prophet as simply a Nineveh hater. But Nineveh writes and preaches out of the large context in which Israel's sins are denounced as vigorously as those of any of her enemies. The effect of Nahum is not to foment religious hate against the enemy, but to say, don't admire or be intimidated by this enemy. They are going to be judged by the very same standards applied to us.